Hi, everybody. This is Callie, and I am talking this week about the pursuit of simplicity as a spiritual discipline. I'm going to start off with a couple Bible passages just to talk about God's perspective on the idea of simplicity, and then I'll talk about some practical applications as well. And in the interest of simplicity, I'm going to try to keep this video short too, without too much extra language. Simplify it down, So, um, my first thought in regarding simplicity is the idea that it's reducing the options that are in front of you, whether it's activities or possessions or some other facet of your life. Simplicity is having less to choose from and less distraction when moving in a direction. So, one story that I think of, that I thought of in the Bible that refers to this comes from Luke 10, verse 38 and following. I'm going to read it real quick. It's the story of Martha and Mary when Jesus visits them. So I'm just going to read through here. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, they came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and said, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." This, I think, really illustrates how we, especially as Americans in Western culture, tend to experience this myriad set of options that we have in any facet of life. There are tons of major options in college. There's lots of career options. There are so much clothing options. The fashion industry is off the charts. There's so many ways that we're told, and we do believe that there are so, like, having more things will solve this problem or make life better in some way. And I think Jesus really touches on here that that's not necessarily true. That if there are more things that need to be done, or more preparations that need to be made, or more things you have to take care of, it leads to more worry and distraction and being upset. And he points this out to Martha, and he says, "But few things are needed, or indeed only one." Now, what he's talking about is sitting at his feet and paying attention to him and listening to what he says. But I think that applies to more than just what he's talking about as well. If there are less things in your life, there's going to be more clarity in your mind regarding the things that you do have. And that's something that I definitely desire in so many areas of my life. I want to have a simpler lifestyle in what I wear and what I do and how I take care of my home and what kind of activities I pursue. So, Jesus' words here are really pertinent, and they've definitely touched my heart multiple times because I've noticed myself being so worried and upset. And so when he speaks to that, that's how I know, I need to reorient and follow his words and his guidance here, to simplify down. So that's sort of on the negative side, how we experience the lack of simplicity. On the positive side, if you want to look at Matthew 6, it's where Jesus is teaching his disciples how to pray. And a lot of us already know this as the Lord's Prayer. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because I think many of us know it. But it includes the line, "Give us today our daily bread." And to me, that speaks to a possibility of our minds being set on, what do we need today? What is it that we're asking God to provide for us today? Jesus doesn't say, "God, provide for all of our needs for the next 5 years." He doesn't say, "God, provide for all of our needs for the rest of my life." While we are trusting God for those things to happen daily, and in the long run, when we're asking about, "God, what is today like? What is today going to be like? What do I need today, and how do I need you today?" That is something I think that is a mindset that can be applied towards simplicity as well. That that if we're focusing on the few things instead of the many, we have more of a peace and more of a contentment with what we have. So in terms of practical applications, I just have a couple suggestions. I've already kind of talked about them here. For me, an issue of simplicity has always been my clothing. I always feel like I have too much, and I know that I don't wear it. It's things that I did wear, but not anymore, or things that were in fashion and now they're out of fashion, or things that used to fit and they don't fit, and they're not things that have worn out. And so I could pack them up and give them away, and that would simplify my life while also potentially making life better for somebody else if they can get something for cheap or free. And another thing would be some of my craft supplies. I have a lot of projects that are undone or have leftover things. I could simplify that, and then instead of it weighing on me because it's so messy, I could say, look at these things that I've completed, and I have some space that used to be taken up by a bunch of crap, which I don't need. And for you, there might be like books or papers or something. There might be, I don't know, furniture or something. It could be a bunch of different things, foods that you haven't eaten or something like that. Those are sort of large scale, like how do I simplify my space? In terms of simplifying activities and lifestyle, I think there is a temptation, well, prior to the pandemic, there's always a temptation to go and do so many different things and have a bunch of different activities that you're always pursuing. And that really removes the possibility of having a quietness and a simplicity of sitting and not being distracted by something, which is a different kind of simplicity. But I think that is something that's also worth pursuing. So, I know that in the next couple weeks, I'm hoping to go through all of my clothing and finally pick out the things that are really that are good to have and aren't going to contribute to more chaos in my mind and my life. And so that I can look at what I have and be thankful to the Lord for what He's given me. So if you are interested in joining with me and doing some of these simplifying activities, let me know. I would love to hear. And if you have other ideas and you want to share with me, because I'm still learning how to pursue simplicity and I would love to hear what your thoughts and ideas are, that would be great too. So you guys are great. I'm so excited to hopefully see everybody again in the fall. And until then, God bless you, and may He bring contentment and peace into your heart as you pursue Him in simplicity.